90.5 FM KSJS. It's Carissa, or DJ Espurr. I'm here with Sweet Chip. We have Valerie and Roby. Super excited to have you guys here. A lot of people at the station are super big fans, so we're all really excited.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
I used to listen to, there was a time when I was younger, I listened to KSJS a lot too.
Really?
College radio. Yeah, because I grew up here in the Bay Area. So, thank you so much for inviting us to interview.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. That's awesome. Okay. So my first question is, being a band based in the Bay Area, what were your memories as being an upcoming band here? Would you guys consider yourselves to be active in the music scene back then? Or were you just kind of releasing your own stuff, like doing your own thing?
Well, when we first started, we tried to be active. So we tried to connect with a lot of different bands. And during that time, the bands which were popular were bands like Brian Jonestown Massacre and a lot of Britpop type monster bands. So we would try to connect with them, but we had a different sound from anyone else. So we didn't get a whole lot of shows booked for that reason with these bands because they always got the crowds. So around that time, very few people would go to our shows. So we tried to be active. However, I don't know if it worked, but we did do like tours, and yeah, we would go to shows a lot. But in the beginning, it was hard. We didn't get a whole lot of recognition. But after Robbie played with Takako Minakawa, then started more paying attention more.
And the thing is that it was also hard for us to because I guess it was kind of hard for people to place us in any particular scene. So like if we got lucky, we could play shows with like Britpop or rock bands. But if that wasn't working, then we could probably get lucky playing at a rave.
Oh yeah, we did that
of all places, or more like gigs that had more diverse type of music and DJs and things like that.
Yeah.
We always seem to be I guess more people in that scene, like the DJ, rave, electronic music, seem to like us a little better. But we were still like, it was like, people were probably thinking that we had an identity crisis. Like, what are you? Like, what do you do?
It was like we felt like the outsiders in the scenes basically then, because we couldn't really fit in any culture. So
yeah,
that's how it felt before. So, well, we tried, but wish they were more active. But
so here at KSJS, we have like a large focus on underground and upcoming local or non-local bands. What advice would you give to them that you wish you knew?
How to promote our music better. I really wish that I had known how to promote our music better in our live shows, and maybe being a little more savvy about more businessy type of things.
Yeah, and for me to be more social, because when I was younger, I was kind of not unfriendly, but a little antisocial. Like I wasn't comfortable in crowds or joining groups and putting up like a website, or I just didn't want my pictures taken. So if anyone wanted to take a picture of Sweet Trip, I was like, oh no, I don't want my picture taken, like that. So I kind of matured in that way. But my advice would be, go ahead, take pictures, let people know who you are, don't hide like I did, or, give yourself presence in the world, the internet. Don't shy away from, interviews, because yeah, I did that for many years. Like I always turned down like no thank you, or but yeah, that's what I would have done differently.
Yeah, I agree with that too, because you know, I'm also kind of introverted and I don't like to be out there exposed and stuff like that. Um, but I think that yeah, as we got older, I think that we had embraced that, and we now know the benefits of that. I think that one of the things that I was uncomfortable with was that it always seemed like it always seemed like placing ads and for a product, or kind of like making our music and making the stuff that we're doing more like a product type of thing, as opposed to like something that we love that comes from the heart. And that always made me uncomfortable when I was younger. But nowadays, like I think that I'm able to just compartmentalize, I guess, sort of. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's sort of like put things into perspective. Like I know when to do that, and I know that it's not going to interfere with the work that we do. That it's actually meaningful to us. Yeah.
It's okay to treat your art as a business and not feel like you're prostituting yourself or something. Like, oh, I'm giving into the world. Some artists are very sensitive with that sort of thing, like, oh, you're selling out, or
Yeah.
have to find a balance.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I do really believe that it's really important to make sure you really love what you're doing. And going off of what you were saying, Robbie, about like how you wish you were able to market your music differently or stuff like that. So Sweet Trip was formed in the late 90s, like 1998, right? But it seemed like there was a resurgence about like 10 years later. Did you guys ever do anything different with marketing your music, or was it just people finding like really good stuff later on? Because you guys, in a way, were just like making music for the future.
Oh, thank you. We are basically we're found objects. we didn't, like, within those 10 years, we didn't market anything at all. So basically, like, if anything changes, like there was like nothing nothing coming from us to promote.
Yeah, it's people like you guys and a handful of people from the start who liked us. But we didn't, like I said, we were the worst promoters. We had no activity, no web page, nothing. So nobody knew who we were. But we just got lucky, I guess, because the kids, the younger people now are the ones listening to this music. Because you're right, back then, nobody got it. They were like, what is this? It's just, they couldn't understand. But you guys, we are thankful and grateful to you guys for this groundswell.
Yeah.
I feel like what a lot of people could appreciate about Sweet Chip, especially myself, is that you guys just kind of incorporate like a lot of genres into your music. You guys incorporate my favorite genres. Like I really like some drum and bass stuff, and like shoegaze is my favorite genre ever. And just finding a band that has all of those in one thing is super awesome. And I feel like you guys are a prime example of just making sure you love what you do and just creating stuff you like, because it might not be right away or soon, but people will end up finding it that really like it.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's really nice of you.
Yeah, we love that genre too. Electronic drum and bass, jungle, and dark wave or shoegaze.
Yeah.
So yeah, even before we were like you, where we like both worlds and go to one show and the other show, but that's why we just got influenced by those styles, and same with you.
So once COVID calms down, which is probably going to be a while, do you guys plan on doing any shows or going on tour or something?
We would like to.
Yeah, that would be fun. it's fun to get to meet people in other states, countries, and it's like a little trip too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Go somewhere else out of town and learn about the culture in other places. So
Yeah.
that would be fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
And going off of the topic of COVID and quarantine, how has your guys' quarantine experience been? Have you found yourself less motivated or more motivated?
Well, let's see. Well, it's the 2020 was a weird year because that was the year. You're insane. That was, you know, that's the year. Well, that was like the year when we actually started working on the record. So we were on the new record and new music. So we were totally pumped up about that. And at the same time, COVID was happening on top of that. So I personally don't feel that COVID was a problem as far as being creative and writing songs and recording and things like that. Because if anything, the making music and getting together and recording and things like that made life through COVID a lot better, a lot more enjoyable.
The only thing COVID affected was how we recorded music, because we were hoping to, you know, rent like a recording studio to avoid noise from the streets and stuff like that. So that was the only thing that made it difficult. So we had to be inventive and come up with ways to block out sound or use the bathroom to record, things like that.
Nice.
So during your inactive period as a band, was there ever a time where you felt kind of hopeless or like in a rut of making music? Did you guys ever consider taking different routes or like making music on your own, or were you guys continuing to make music together?
No, we didn't make any music together. I messed around with music during that time, but it wasn't really. I don't know. Like most of it was just me messing around, trying new sounds, making like billions of tiny little demos that never went anywhere. But just, you know, just to keep my sanity in check.
Yeah.
But no, there was no.
Yeah, we lost touch, me and Robbie, so we were just doing our own thing, and he had his own SoundCloud, I had my own SoundCloud, so just kind of really busy with our own lives. And so yeah, just when we reconnected, that was when we decided, okay, we'll do more Sweet Trip stuff then, instead of like other own recording. So it's because I think the people like Sweet Trip. So that's why they like Sweet Trip, we'll do Sweet Trip.
No, but it wasn't like that.
Give them what they want.
Come on now.
Well, I know. Never mind what I said. No, I guess, yeah.
It was. I think that maybe you agree with me, but you know, we reconnected and it was really awesome. It was like we never got disconnected ever.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's true.
We just sort of got excited about making music again.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, okay, you
That's true though. I'll keep my mouth shut from now on. You answer?
No.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay.
This is really funny.
So So Sweet Chip then, would you say were disbanded or broken up? Would you say Sweet Chip ever ended? You guys took a break, but there was never really oh, Sweet Chip, we're done making music, all that stuff. So did you guys know that you wanted to make more Sweet Chip music in the future?
I personally, I did not know. I think that there was a period after our last record came out, and there was a lot of stuff going on personally that sort of like discouraged me from music altogether. Even though I was still like trying to make little things here and there just to like keep myself sane. At the same time, there was a period of time where I thought, like, what's the point of even entertaining making music or anything like that? But also at the same time, I always like wanted to like work with Valerie again and just get together and make music. So it was sort of like I don't know.
Yeah, it was like a breakup. Because me too, I didn't anticipate ever working with Robbie again, even though back of my mind was like, I hope so, I wish. But then, life took over and everyone had like their own lives. So, but yeah, I knew it was done, but then only also because before, like I said, we hardly had any audience response. And I thought, oh, nobody likes. I'm like, well, who knows what we'll do this again. So I thought that was the end, really.
Yeah, that was a period after the last record came out, and which is like, I guess partly our fault for not promoting ourselves and marketing ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we
didn't know there were listeners, to be honest. We didn't know anyone was buying these records.
And so like after a while of like playing like what was it, like be playing music for like, I don't know, 10, 15 years or something like that. And like playing tiny little shows for like 10 people.
Mostly our family members.
And mostly our family members. I was like,
I don't know
about this. It was like we don't want to put a pity show for ourselves.
Yeah.
When did you guys realize that more people were listening to Sweet Chip? Were you guys constantly checking up on how Sweet Chip was doing, or was it just one day you're like, wow, where did this come from?
Yeah, we weren't even really paying attention to what was happening. I just noticed that there were some young people friending me on my Facebook and Instagram, and it's not even a Sweet Trip account. I just opened those for family kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But more and more, I was getting friend requests and people commenting on my SoundCloud about how they like the music. So that's how I suddenly realized, like, oh wow, there's a lot of people discovering this music. They're commenting on SoundCloud. There's direct messaging me. They're trying to friend me on Instagram, and that's when I first realized, like, oh, we have a listener. We have these kids, and they're so young. We're like, oh my gosh. So then my Instagram it transformed into like content-wise becomes more like Sweet Trip content instead of, pictures of, me with my auntie, like doing something, like, or what?
But she wants to join the band.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah, same here, what she said.
I saw that throughout the albums, you guys moved from using hardware synths to plugins. Would you say that making that transition affected your sound at all? Like from BDC to You Will Never Know Why, you can kind of hear how it's, like more pop-based compared to BDC. Was that intentional, or did that just kind of happen?
So as far as the gear is concerned, yeah, using computer effects and plugins and things like that. I think, yeah, that definitely changed our sound because it just opened a wide array of possibilities for us to mess with. And it's also a lot quicker to use than using hardware stuff. And it's easier to save your work at the same time. It's a lot easier to save your work. But the point is that, yeah, like once we moved from hardware to software, we had access to more sounds that we had with the gear that we had. And it also allowed us to do really obtuse and weird production things that only make sense to us. And for let's see, and I guess the change between VDC and You Will Never Know Why. So both records are more or less recorded with software. I think that You Will Never Know Why might have a little bit of hardware in there. I actually don't remember. But the difference between it wasn't a conscious decision to go from VDC to You Will Never Know Why. Something that I think about a lot is that, you know, we don't really like schedule a meeting to talk about what our next steps are going to be. We just kind of go with the flow. Everything that we do is just like part of that time, where we're at, what we're listening to, and what's happening to us personally, and all this stuff. So it wasn't really a conscious decision. If anything, I think the only thing that I could share was that after VDC came out and we made that, I just had this urge to play the guitar more because I was sucking at it. And so like I kept practicing, and then the more I practiced, the more guitar chords and little
less process.
Yeah.
Music, less effects.
Yeah.
And also for shows with VDC, it was hard to play shows with those sounds because then so a lot of gear, equipment, and the sound people never knew how to mix, so glitchy, and they got it wrong often, and they're like, what is that? What does that sound like? Is that supposed to be there? You know, like that. And then they would try to reduce the level, or turn it up. It's supposed to be like that. So when with You Will Never Know Why, it was more like, it'd be nice not to have to carry all this equipment. Just something more straightforward. Have a drummer there. It would be fun to have a live drummer, which we did when we played songs from You Will Never Know Why. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of fun to be more like a band with like instruments and, less like synth and computers and yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Valerie actually mentioned her earlier, but a while back when I discovered Takako Mankawa, I really loved her stuff, and I basically just did like a deep search of her music on YouTube. And when I found the Sweet Chip remixes, I was like, this can't be real. This is the best combination ever. So do you think you'd ever do more collabs or remixes with artists like that in the future?
I would love to. We would love to.
Yeah, that would be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be super cool. So I was watching another interview, and someone basically like named these artists and asked you guys your opinions on them. So I kind of wanted to do that. So the first artist is Covet. They're a band from the Bay Area, or at least the lead woman is Yvette Young. It's a math rock band. Are you guys familiar with her?
Yeah, I have heard some of the music. I'm actually more familiar with her personal work. She posts a lot of videos on YouTube, and she's just like shredding on that guitar. It's really
it's
she's
super
really
cool.
to watch. Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard her music yet, but I think I might have seen her on a video as well. But I was when I first my first impression was, wow, that's awesome. Look at this girl kicking butt. So,
Yeah.
but I just haven't had time to really like listen to all the songs. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'll like it. It's like you said, very sort of technical. So
Yeah. And from the Bay Area.
yeah.
San Jose.
Yeah, like hella.
The more music that I'm not aware of, that I'm exposed to, like recommendations, and like yeah, keep them coming. So I'm not so out of the times here.
Yeah.
For sure.
So she can,
Updated, so I'm.
she can do us a favor and start listening to Willie Nelson all the time.
Exposing her.
Yeah, save me from my Percy Faith collection.
Yeah.
No problem with it. Okay. The next band I want to ask about is Duster, also from San Jose. Do you guys like Duster?
I have also heard some things, but oh man, the music, the sound of Duster just totally escapes me. Like I do know that I've heard it, that I've liked it, that it's one person, I believe, from San Jose, and I actually kind of wonder if Duster is in Darla Records.
Oh yeah. Oh.
I wonder.
I could see them being on Darla, honestly. I'm not sure though.
Yeah. But yeah, I should give Duster a listen again.
It's funny because there's kind of like a pattern when you talk to someone nowadays. If they listen to Sweet Trip, they like Duster. I've noticed that. Like a lot of people that like Sweet Trip like Duster. It's a pattern I noticed. But yeah, they're super cool. They're the last concert I saw before COVID and everything. So it's cool.
So am I right? Am I right in thinking that it's only one person, or is it a full group?
No, it's a band.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm probably thinking of something else.
And then my last one is Ray Harakami. I feel like you guys would like his stuff. He's a producer from Kyoto, electronic, has some glitchy stuff.
Cool.
I like this music. I checked it out, and it's it helps to like calm me down for some reason. So,
yeah,
I like it.
Me too.
More than Willie Nelson.
Yeah, more than Willie. But no, it's very creative.
Yeah. Are you guys inspired by any types of books or films at all, would you say?
Well, mood-wise, I think books would inspire me. Because I do like kind of, well, I always try, when I write lyrics for songs, I find that they're always kind of sad. They're not happy lyrics. They're always have lean to like being depressed or isolated. And that's kind of how the kind of books that I read too have a lot to do with loneliness. And so, yeah, I would say so. Because most of the books I read are about like loneliness and sad stories. And those are ones I love the best. So like all the lyrics that I write, they're kind of sad, not too joyful.
That's interesting. I like, I think, yeah, you made me think of, you actually like made me think of something too. Because I didn't know how to answer this question, but now, thanks to you, now I can. A lot of the things that I read are stories that I read just to like escape the mundane life that I find myself surrounded in sometimes. in like things like fantasy books or just I don't know, adventures, or I don't know, things like that, or just like, or like some like Russian literature that it's pretty out there sometimes. And some of that is like grounded in real life, but there's also like a really absurd, fantastical part of it too, and I really like that. And I can kind of see a relationship between those books and some of the lyrics that I write. That are like about escaping and just like escaping life and I don't know, hardship and things like that. So
Yeah.
Nice. A lot of people are super excited for Sweet Trip's new album. What would you say makes it different compared to the rest of the stuff you put out?
Well, I don't know.
The process, well, like us recording it was what was different from the other ones. Because I think more this just Robbie and I, well, I think this album is a lot more intimate for sure with how we recorded it, the process. So even the songs kind of it has more intimacy because the other ones, the previous records are a little more aloof or detached maybe, but it's kind of more personal, this one. So
yeah.
Nice.
So it like you could tell with the songs they're a little more like emotional, I would say.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you were to describe it in 3 words, what would it be?
Me? Dang. Maybe mature.
Mature, but
you look like you're about to spit your lumpia at me.
Oh, I would say Sweet Trip matured children. I don't know. 3 words. Because we're still really childlike, even though we're older, and we are more matured as far as the way we treat being a band. Because again, before we were sort of like, I wouldn't say insecure, but maybe that's a good word to use. As a band, we were insecure or like not confident. But with you, the new album, it's like we matured because we're receptive to an audience and not like before. And then the music, it's not being being aloof or cynical, but more emotional and accepting. So, but we still have like childlike qualities. So that's why I said that, because the songs are still very playful, even though it's more mature than the other ones, the other albums.
Mm-hmm. That's good. So maybe like mature, playful, and soft.
Well, we're really excited to hear it, so we're looking forward to that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for being so patient.
So what was your upbringing to music as a child? Could you recall a certain era or time where you realized you want to do music in the future?
Yeah. So I've always been interested in music since I was a kid. I used to have dance parties with my sister when we were like 7 and 4, and we'll play like teeny bopper stuff, and we'll like come up with weird choreography. And then as I grew older, a little older, I got interested in guitar and like rock music, heavy metal, and things like that. And I used to gather my neighborhood friends and create this like air instrument band. And so we'll all play like air guitars and air drums, and we'll just like perform on our porch or whatever. And remember parents just looking at us and thinking we were weird. But I always liked doing that, and I always liked using a tennis racket to play the guitar. And when I became a teen, I decided that I should actually like try it out, like with a real instrument. I bought a really cheap guitar for like $70, and I started playing. And the more I got better at playing chords and playing single notes, the more encouraged I became to write stuff, even if it was just like really crappy, because it was really crappy. But at the same time, it was so like amazing and interesting to me to be able to do that and to be able to like teach myself how to do that, and not just like go.
Yeah, for me, my parents influenced me to like a lot of their bossa nova music. They would play like Astrud Gilberto and Sergio Mendes music, and then they also really love like 60s bands like the Beatles, Dave Clark 5, that kind of stuff. So I grew up appreciating those kinds of music, very melodic, very poppy music. And when the first time that that I realized I could make my own music or try to be a musician was when they asked me to sing at a funeral, and I was like 8 years old, and they I don't even know if they heard me sing ever before, but they just asked me to sing a song at a funeral, and then people said that they liked my voice. So ever since then, they would do like karaoke and parties, and then I would sing. And then at age 14, I thought that was the extent of it, just sing karaoke, that's it. But at age 14, my dad's friend was playing classical guitar, and I was really sort of enthralled by the whole thing. I was like, wow, this is so awesome. So then I told him, can you teach me how to play that? And then he taught me how to play Dust in the Wind.
Classic.
So then after that, I took classes, and yeah, then he gave me his guitar, and that's how I got started playing guitar. And in high school at 16, one of my skater friends was trying to offload guitars, so I bought his cheap electric guitar, and then that's when I started playing with that, and went to Guitar Center and tested all the effect pedals and got into those and processors, and that was it. And then I was like, I want to join a band, but then at the time I played with band, but we didn't really share the same musical tastes. So with my high school friend, she told me about Robbie and Viet, and one day I'm like, can I go to their practice? I just want to jam with them. So then I did that, and we hit it off. So that was how it started.
Nice.
I do want to point something out, that like how cool Valerie is, because she has skater friends.
No.
We're like me in high school, like all my friends were like we're all from like AP club. Totally nerdy.
I don't know. I think it's where we live. I went to high school in Hayward, California. And then, yeah, there were a lot of kids there who were, in our school anyway, who were into surfboarding, skateboarding. So, I don't know. I guess we're just the people who would hang out by the parking lot, and that's how we all met. Not that I was choosing to be friends only with skaters. I was friends with everyone. I was a nerd too in school. Oh. We were
Oh.
of school.
Yo, always another tangent, you and I.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, Carissa.
You're good. No worries. Was there a specific band or something that really inspired you to make the type of music you make now?
Yeah. I think Slow Dive was one.
Yeah,
that
Slow
we
Dive
shared.
was always like one of our favorites.
I got the Slow Dive vinyl.
Cool.
See right there.
Oh, you can see. I was just listening to it.
Oh, back there. Okay, guys.
Yeah, we're using the phone, so it's small.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, we love Slow Dive. And also, who else influenced?
I guess like Aphex Twin,
Yeah, electronic music and
Seafield.
yeah, Seafield was an influence too.
Cool.
And yeah, there's just so many.
Mhm.
But those are the two that I know people will know who they are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your process of making music? Do you guys kind of have like chords you lean towards or certain keys you lean towards? Or do you just make what you want? No blueprint really, you just make it as you go.
Make it as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I feel like that's when the best stuff is made, when you don't think about it too much beforehand.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just that's kind of the process that overall, I would say like 75% of the process is like that. Which jam on an instrument, whistle something, or go out on a walk and beatbox a little. And I'm not joking on that one. It's really random, and it's also like it doesn't start with one particular instrument. It can start with anything.
Yeah.
So like a bass guitar can be the initial state for a song, or again like a beatbox kind of beat could also do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes a sound that you hear, like just some noise or sound, and then you put that and then you layer on top of it. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Nice.
all the songs were come out or start off in their own way.
Yeah. And also, sometimes I'm not ashamed to say this, but sometimes trying to copy some artist or some song as a starting point it's also like a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
But it's not a planned thing. It's just like randomly, like I hear a song and I'd be like, that sounds interesting. Get on the computer, try to mess around, and yeah, that's something comes out of it. Sometimes it doesn't. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to copy that whole My Bloody Valentine sound, that whole when I bought my effect pedals for the first time, because I say what, or when this band called Spiritualized, you was using like that tremolo effect thing. So I'm like, oh, that's what's making that sound. So then I bought a pedal like similar, so I could then copy it, and then yeah, same what he was saying. Sometimes I try to copy a band and then move it towards my own music. So.
That's exactly what I did when I got my first guitar pedals. Copied My Bloody Valentine. That's how they do it.
Yeah, you go to their shows and you're like, after the show, you go all the way up to the front of the
and you look at
stage
their
to see
pedal board.
what kind of equipment they have. What are they using? Like that.
Literally. That's what I did at Duster. I got in the front just to look at their pedal board.
I didn't
Yeah.
recognize anything. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, the funny thing is that I didn't start copying my Bloody Valentine until like just a little later, than that, like a few years after Loveless came out. Because for like a year or a little less than a year or so, I thought that my Loveless cassette was warped. Because they play the guitar sounds with the tremolo there, and it sounds kind of like out of tune and comes back into it and things like that.
Yeah.
And I thought my cassette was stayed in the sun for too long, so the tape
Oh
was
my
warped.
gosh. That's so funny.
It took me a while to get into it, and then I realized that I heard a CD version of it, and I was like, wait a second, the CD sounds just like the tape.
Oh, it's supposed to be like that. That's so
Exactly.
funny. But yeah, that's super cool how you're talking about how you'll like start a song or inspiration for a song by beatboxing. I've never heard anyone do that. That's so funny. It's super creative.
I'm not good at it. I will never call myself a beatboxer. But it's actually really fun. If you can like beatbox a beat and sort of like think of a melody in your head while you're beatboxing, it's a good tip. I like doing that a lot.
I think I actually got all of my questions that I was planning on ask out of the way stuff. So if there's anything you guys want to say, go ahead.
We do want to have your radio show schedule so we can listen to you.
Thank you so much.
And that's so interesting. Yeah.
Every other week now, so I'd say every other Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll listen in.
Thank you.
Yeah. How about you? Well, how did you first start playing music? Like, what got you into it?
So I started at the same age as you, like 14. It was when I was just going into high school. My brother played guitar, and I always wanted to play, but I felt like my fingers were too small. I was probably just not used to it, but it was just really hard for me when I first tried, probably when I was like 12. But I revisited it when I was like 14, 15, and I made progress. So that's when I started. What inspired me, I just really liked like rock music. I really liked punk music. That's what I was kind of more into at that age. I was really into this like teeny bopper band at that time called 5 Seconds of Summer. So I started playing bass because of them. And yeah, and then I started listening to shoegaze later on in high school, and that's when I got my pedals. And then I kind of had like a crisis, like, oh, I like electronic music, but I like shoegaze music and rock music. And then I found Sweet Trip. I was like, oh my god, they made it possible. So yeah. So yeah, I definitely say you guys are a big inspiration to me. I've definitely tried making music, kind of struggling, but you guys definitely are like the sound I like a lot.
Cool. Thank you.
Well, that's a nice story. And go get them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
So rock out.
Don't worry about struggling. Or like, don't think of it as a struggle. Just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was super nice talking to you guys. I'm really thankful for this interview, and we're all excited. Everyone at the station is super excited for this. So I just want to say thank you and good luck on the album and good luck with everything. I hope you enjoyed your food. It looked good. That lumpia looked good. I might make some after this.
Oh, you know, why that we were eating because it gets soggy if we let it get cold. So I'm like, while we do it.
No, I get it. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys.
That was fun. We
Yeah.
appreciate you guys and thanks again for having us.
Of course.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah.
That's my favorite to play in radio shows.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And those are my
Noted.
favorite ways. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you
So have a
guys.
good day. Bye.
Bye.